There's a lot of channels out there that do Evangelion analysis, and their stuff is great if you're okay with only scratching the surface of Anno's masterpiece. The problem is that it's not enough to get true spiritual enlightenment from the series. I realized what it takes to finally go from a confused viewer to enlightened interpreter. You need symbolic literacy, psychological context, and spiritual grounding. And that's why I created this deep dive into the occultism of Evangelion. After learning from the collective confusion of fans and realizing I had to come up with the missing pieces myself, I finally have a system that works, that's fully complete. One that reveals how Anno crafted not just an anime, but a modern spiritual allegory that addresses humanity's deepest questions about existence, consciousness, and redemption. Before we can decode Evangelion's dense symbolism, we need to understand its mystical foundation. Anno didn't randomly select religious imagery. It deliberately drew from three major esoteric traditions: the Kabbalah, Jewish mysticism centered on understanding divine nature; Enochian magic, a system of angelic communication; Christian mysticism, spiritual practices seeking union with divine reality. They converge on fundamental questions about the nature of the universe, the human condition, the relationship between the individual and the divine. This esoteric framework isn't just decorative. It's the spiritual architecture that supports Evangelion's profound exploration of human destiny, consciousness, and ultimately, redemption. The most prominent mystical symbol in Evangelion is undoubtedly the Tree of Life, a Kabbalistic diagram that appears at the opening of every episode and during pivotal moments throughout the series. In Kabbalistic tradition, the tree represents a map of divine energy, how God's essence manifests and orders itself in reality. It's simultaneously a cosmic diagram of creation, a blueprint of the human psyche, a roadmap for spiritual development. When we see Gendo Zicali's meeting room adorned with this symbol, or when it flashes during instrumentality, we are witnessing more than aesthetic choice. We are seeing the spiritual architecture of Evangelion's universe laid bare. Each major character in Evangelion can be interpreted as an embodiment of one of the Sephiroth, the 10 emanations, or spheres, on the Tree of Life. This multi-Sephirotic approach reflects traditional Kabbalah, where the Sephiroth aren't separate entities, but interconnected aspects of divine emanation that work together as a unified system. Just as human consciousness contains multiple simultaneous aspects, intellect, emotion, will, Evangelion presents characters as complementary expression of spiritual reality. Shinji Ikari corresponds to Yesod, the foundation of personality and emotional reality. His struggle with passivity and his inability to manifest his inner reality in the outer world represents the spiritual challenge of Yesod. His position as Yesod places him as the foundation through which higher spiritual forces must flow to manifest in reality, explaining why he becomes the pivotal decision maker at the series' end. Asuka embodies Tiferet, beauty, compassion, but also ego and duality. Her final battle against the mass-produced Evas isn't merely a physical defeat, it's a spiritual victory where her ego destruction becomes necessary for higher consciousness. Her position as Tiferet, the central balancing point between mercy and judgment, explains her constant struggle between aggression and vulnerability. Rei Ayanami represents Bina, understanding and introspection. Her struggle with her sense of disposability parallels Bina's acceptance of destiny. Her position as Bina, the realm of pure understanding beyond emotional attachment, explains her otherworldly nature and ultimate role in facilitating instrumentality. The interactions between these characters, their conflicts, connection, and eventual integration mirror the Kabbalistic concept that true enlightenment comes not from isolating spiritual qualities, but from bringing them into harmony. Their collective journey suggests that spiritual awakening requires integrating these diverse elements rather than choosing between them. Silo's master plan, the Human Instrumentality Project, parallels the Kabbalistic concept of tikkun, or repair of the shattered vessel of creation. In Kabbalistic thought, the original sin caused a cosmic shattering that fragmented divine light, creating separation and suffering. The mystical goal is to repair this shattered reality. In Evangelion, Lilith represents the tree of knowledge. Adam embodies the tree of life. Their separation mirrors humanity's fall from grace. The third impact becomes an opportunity for cosmic reunion. But Anno subverts this paradigm by questioning whether forced unity is truly redemptive. Silo's vision of instrumentality, forced merger of souls, mirrors totalitarian ideologies that sacrifice individuality for collective harmony. What makes Evangelion truly profound is how the angels, seemingly antagonistic entities, function as spiritual catalysts for humanity's evolution. Each angel confronts humanity with specific spiritual lessons drawn from ancient mystical traditions. Throughout the sacred texts of mystical traditions, angels serve as divine messengers who test, transform, and ultimately prepare humanity for spiritual evolution. The angelic hierarchy, described in ancient sources, reveal a profound spiritual journey rather than a mere celestial combatants. Sachiel, the angel of water and mercy, presents a divine trial documented in the book of Raziel. Heptameron, an early Kabbalistic text. This messenger initiates the path of spiritual awakening through the element of water, symbolizing both destruction and purification. Shamshel wields the solar whip of judgment, embodying the essential rite of passage found in the Book of Enoch's accounts of the fallen watchers and solar archetype in mysticism. Through the confrontation with this angel, the soul faces judgment of its worthiness, proceed on the spiritual journey. The angel of thunder and divine fire, Ramiel, reveals a higher plane beyond suffering. Referenced in the Apocalypse of Ezra and Book of Enoch, this angel's appearance signifies the illumination that can only come through tribulation. Israfel, angel of harmony and resurrection, represents duality harmonized, known in Islamic hadith as Israfil, and connected to Raphael in the Book of Tobit. This messenger demonstrates how opposing forces must find balance within the spiritual seeker. The embryonic angel tests creation and birth itself. Talmudic and Kabbalistic texts describe how Sandalphon determines the sex of embryos, symbolizing divine influence over the most fundamental aspect of manifestation. Matarael, angel of rain and acid tears, brings judgment that burns away illusion. Rabbinical mysticism identifies this figure as the angel of rain, both nourishing and eroding depending on what it touches. Saakiel, the angel who falls from the heavens, represents heavenly order broken. The Book of Enoch positions this figure as guardian of the fourth heaven, whose descent signifies cosmic disruption necessary for spiritual evolution. Irael, also known as Iriel, the angel of fear and digital possession, embodies confrontation with matriarchal legacy and trauma. Ancient Near Eastern amulets and Jewish folklore contain protection spells against this angel of fear. Leliel, shadow of the self, forces confrontation with the dark night of the soul. The Midrash Tanuma and Talmud Nidra reference the angel Laila, governing night and fate, compelling the spiritual seeker to face their deepest shadows. The possessor, Bardiel, symbolizes ego possession. The Book of Enoch describes Barakiel among the forces of heaven, testing humanity's attachment to illusory self-identity. Zeruel, the arm of God, brings rebirth into God consciousness. Pseudo-Philo's Antiquities of the Jews describe how Zerubbabel strengthens warriors, representing the divine power that emerges after surrender of the ego. Arael, Bird of Light and Gnosis, delivers unwanted enlightenment. Gnostic texts like Pistis Sophia and John Dee's Enochian writings reference this messenger who forces confrontation with uncomfortable truth. The angel of the womb, Ar Misael, facilitates spiritual rebirth. Jewish medieval mysticism associates Ar Misael with the womb, symbolizing the sacred container in which transformation occurs. Tabris, also known as the angel of free will, represents the ultimate choice of humanity over divinity. The Noctemeron by Apollonius of Tyana describes spiritual firmness against adversity, embodying the final test of spiritual will. Each encounter with these divine messengers should not be understood as mere conflict, but as mystical initiation, preparing humanity for the ultimate spiritual choice we will face during the great transformation, whether to remain separate or to transcend into collective consciousness. What makes Evangelion truly profound is Shinji's ultimate choice, a rejection of forced unity in favor of individual existence, despite all its pain. His journey mirrors classic mystical quests, the hero's journey, the fool's arc in Tarot, the soul's ascension toward enlightenment. But instead of transcending humanity, Shinji ultimately embraces it. When he chooses life, the will to live and the courage to carry out, he's making a profound spiritual statement that true divinity isn't found in escape from the human condition, but in the courage to fully embrace it. Ultimately, Evangelion's esoteric symbolism reveals a profound spiritual message, that transcendence doesn't come from escaping our humanity, but from fully embracing it, pain, connection, and all.